Allow your head to rest on the mat. Bring your arms up in front of your chest and stretch your fingers up towards the ceiling. You're pulling the shoulders up off the mat. And take your hands to the ground above your head and stretch out. And then bring your hands round in a big semicircle down towards your hips. And raise them up in front of your chest. And lower them down to your hips. Bring your hands round to the ground above your head. Stretch out down the length of your body, so push your toes away from you. Stretch out with your fingers. And then raise your hands back up towards the ceiling. Bring your feet up off the ground, bend your knees. Take hold of your knees. Hug them up towards your chest. Extend your feet up towards the ceiling. Point your toes, straighten your legs as much as you can. Tensing up the front of your thighs so that you can feel the stretch down the back of your hamstrings. Keeping your thighs tense if you can. Pull your toes back towards your shins. Push your heels up. Point your toes up again. And pull back on both legs. Ease the tension off. Relax your ankles. Allow the knees to bend. Take hold of your knees again and hug them up towards your chest. Ease the tension off. Let your feet come down to the ground. Soles of the feet on the ground. And bring your arms alongside your body. Palms facing down. Draw your heels up towards your buttocks. With your ankles hip width apart. Push down into the ground through the soles of your feet to push your hips up. Lower your hips back down. Bring your feet up off the ground, bend your knees, and hug your knees up towards your chest. And let the soles of the feet come back down to the ground. This time bringing your feet together. Arms back alongside your body, palms facing down. Bring your right foot up, bend your knee, and push down with your left foot to lift your hips. If you feel you can, straighten your right leg. Allow your right leg to bend. Get down to the ground. Let your hips come down. Raise your left leg up, bend the knee. Push down with your right foot, bringing your hips up. Again, if you can, straighten left leg. Allow the left leg to bend. Bring it down to the ground. Lower your hips. Bring your feet up off the ground. Bend your knees. Hug your knees up towards your chest. And let the soles of the feet come back down to the ground. Knees and ankles together, and extend your arms out to the sides. And take an inhale here. And as you exhale, lower your knees over towards the left. Inhale back to the center. And exhale over to the right. Inhale back to the center again. Bring your arms back alongside your body. Turn on to your side. Over onto your front. Bring your forearms up alongside your chest. And push down into the ground through your elbows and your forearms. Bring your chin and your chest up to sphinx. Lower your chest back down. Bring your hands in underneath your shoulders. And push up the cobra. Let your chest come back down again. Bring your hands forward so you're back on your forearms. Push up to cobra. And put sphinx. Thank you. And put your feet onto the balls of your feet. And lift your hips. Lower your hips back down. And bring your hands in underneath your shoulders. And push up to cobra. And put your feet onto the balls of the feet. And lift your hips up. Plank. Let your knees come down. Your feet back onto the insteps. Lift chin in your chest. Sink your hips. And sit back onto your heels. And stretch out in front. Bring your chest forward. Draw your hands in underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And straighten your left leg out behind, point your toes. Lower the foot down, so curl your toes back, keep the left leg straight. Lower the ball of the foot down to the ground. Take your right hand out to the side and raise it up if you can. Lower your right hand back down. Bring your left knee in. Straighten your right leg out behind. Point your toes. Your toes away from you. Pull the toes back. Lower your foot down. Left hand out to the side. Lower back down. Bring your right knee in. And sit back onto your heels. Reach out in front. Bring your chest forward, curl your toes under, push your hips up into downward facing dog. And walk your feet up to the front of the mat. We're in forward fold. And take an inhale, raise your arms up. Reach back with your hands. Arching your back, looking up towards the ceiling. And then let your hands continue back. Bring them round towards your hips. Raise them up in front. Reach back. And then reach up. Bring your arms forward. And behind your hips. Raise your arms up. And reach back again. And stretch up to the ceiling. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, fold forward. Take an inhale, raise your arms up. Interlace your fingers. Make a side bend over to the left. Back to the centre. And over to the right. Back to the centre again. Release the grip on your fingers. Take an inhale. As you exhale, fold forward. Take a step back on your left foot. And then on your right. And push your hips up. Downward facing dog. Take the weight onto your right foot. And lift the left up. And bring your left leg down as you do. Bend the knee and step up to the front of the mat. Turn your right foot out and come on to the heel. And bring your hands off the ground, sweep them up behind your hips. And then sweep your arms forward and up, and as you do, push down with your left foot, bringing your hands up, turn your body round to the long side of the mat. Allow your arms down to shoulder height. To warrior two. And straighten your left leg. Bring your right hand down onto your thigh. Turn your left hand palm up. Reach up. And bring your right hand up. Turn your chest and your shoulders to look down the mat. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, fall forward. Allow your left knee to bend. Turn your right foot back onto the ball of the foot. And step back with your left. Into downward facing dog. And take your weight onto your left foot. And raise the right leg up. And then lower down, and as you do, bend your knee and step up to the front of the mat. Let your left foot turn out and come onto the heel. Take your hands away from the ground, bring them up behind your hips. And then start to sweep your arms forward. Push down with your right foot, bringing your body up. And as you do, turn, face the long side of the mat. Looking out over your right hand. Warrior two. And straighten your right leg. And your left hand come down onto your thigh. Right hand palm up. Reach up. Stretch back. And raise your left hand up. Turn your chest and shoulders to look down the mat. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, fold forward. Allow your right knee to bend. Come on to the ball of the left foot. Step back with your right foot. Or back to downward facing dog. And walk back to the front of the mat. Or in forward fold. Take an inhale, raise your arms up. Lower down to shoulder height with palms facing forward. And pull back across your chest. Make a back bend and look up. And then reach up to the ceiling once more. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, fold forward. Take a step back on your left foot. Onto the ball of the foot. Gaze forward. Runner's lunge. And then let your left knee come down. Your foot onto the instep. Raise your hands up. Bring your palms together. Lower them down to the heart. Lower your left elbow down. Raise your right shoulder up. And come back to the centre. Lower your right elbow down. Your left shoulder up. And back to the centre. Raise your hands up, keeping your palms together. Reach back. Lower your arms forward. Bring your hands down to the ground. Shift your weight back, straightening your right leg. Coming up onto the heel. And half monkey. And bring your weight forward. Onto the flat of your right foot. Left foot onto the ball of the foot. Lift your knee. And step up to forward fold. Take a step back on your right foot. Onto the ball of the foot. And let your knee come down. Foot onto the instep. Raise your arms up. Bring your palms together. Lower down to the heart. Lower your right elbow. Raise your left shoulder. Come back to the centre. Lower your left elbow. Raise your right shoulder. Come back to the centre again. Raise your arms up. Keeping your palms together, stretch back. And then lower your arms forward. Bring your hands down to the ground. Shift your weight back. Straighten your left leg. And come up onto the heel. Bring your weight forward again onto the flat. with the left foot, right foot onto the ball of the foot. Lift your knee back to runner's lunge. And then step up to the front of the mat, so move forward fold once more. Take a step back on your left foot, and then on your right, push your hips up to downward facing dog. And take an inhale here. As you exhale, lower your knees down. Bring your toes together. Take your knees out to the edges of the mat. Sit back onto your heels. Let your chest sink down. Bring your chest forward. Draw your hands in underneath your shoulders, keeping your feet together. Bring your knees in together as well. Lean your hips over to the left side. Back to the centre. Over to the right side. Back to the centre again. Your knees and your ankles back out to hip width. Let your belly sink down. Lift your chin up to cow. Arch your back. Bring your chin in. Come into a cat. And breathe in, sink your belly down, lift your chin up. And breathe out, arch your back and bring your chin in. And breathe into cow. And breathe out to cat. And sit back onto your heels. And stretch out in front. Bring your chest forward. Draw your hands in. And come to seated towards the back of your mat. Bring the soles of your feet together. And hug your heels in. Take hold of your toes. Come up onto your sit bones. Lift your chest. Push your knees down. Your shoulders forward. Keep your right foot where it is. Take your left foot out in front. Hands to the sides of your hips. Lift your chest. Come up onto your sit bones again. And inhale, raise your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, lower down. Your right foot in. Sorry, your left foot in. Take your right foot out in front. Hands to the sides of your hips again and lift your chest up. Inhale, raise your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, lower down. Take your left foot out to join your right. Feet together with your toes pointing up. Bring your hands alongside your hips, fingers pointing forward. Come up onto your sit bones. And inhale, raise your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, raise your arms up. And exhale, lower down to the sides. Your neck and shoulders. And bring both of your feet in. Hands to the sides of your hips. Raise your arms up. Bring your palms together. Push up towards the ceiling. And then lower down to chest height. Push your fingers away. Arch your back. Bring your chin in. Raise your arms up. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, lower your arms down to the sides. Bring your hands down behind your back. Interlace your fingers. And push your hands away from the bottom of your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades in. Lift your chin and your chest. Let your hands come down to the bottom of your back. Let go of your fingers. And inhale, raise your arms up. And exhale, lower down to the sides. Put your left hand over onto your right knee. Right hand to the ground behind your back. And twist to look back over your right shoulder. Relax, come forward. Right hand onto your left knee. Left hand to the ground behind your back. And twist to look back over your left shoulder. Relax, come forward. Right hand to the ground at the side of your hip. Left hand palm up. Take an inhale, reach up. And exhale, reach over. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower down. Left hand down to the side, right hand palm up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, stretch over. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower down. Relax your neck and your shoulders. Take your feet out in front. And bring your backs down onto the mat. Bring both hands up in front of your chest. Stretch up towards the ceiling. And then keeping your right arm straight, take your arm across your chest. And as you do, hook the elbow with the inside of the left forearm. Gently push down. Raise both arms up. And your left arm straight, take it across your chest. Hook the elbow with the inside of the forearm. Gently push down again. Reach up with both hands. Push it up towards the ceiling. And lower down to the ground above your head. Bring your arms all the way down. Back to your hips again. And bring your feet up off the ground, bend your knees. Take hold of your knees and hug them up towards your chest. Take your hands down your shins to the outside edges of your feet. Soles of the feet together and hug your heels in. And then pull your feet out to the sides. Soles of the feet pointing up towards the ceiling in happy baby. Bring your feet in. Take your hands back up to your knees. Straighten your legs and point your toes up. Pull back on both legs. And if you can, bring your head and your shoulders up off the mat. Lower your head and shoulders down. Ease the tension off, relax your ankles. Allow your knees to bend, take hold of the knees. Hug up towards your chest once more. Gently rock from side to side on the bottom of your back. Relax back to the centre. Lower the soles of your feet down to the ground. Extend your arms out to the sides. Cross the right leg over the top of the left leg. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, lower your knees over towards the right. Inhale back to the centre. Exhale over to the left. Inhale back to the centre. Right foot, place it on the mat. Cross the left leg over the top of the right. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, lower your knees over towards the left. Inhale back to the centre. And exhale over to the right. Inhale back to the centre. And left foot place it at the side of the right. Relax your knees out to the sides. Bring the soles of the feet together. And extend your feet down to the bottom of the mat. Take your ankles apart. Relax the toes out to the sides. Bring your arms to a position that's comfortable for you. And take your awareness up to the crown of your head. And down through your head and face. Relaxing the muscles in the face and the jaw. The neck and shoulders. Relax the muscles in the upper arms. Relax the elbows. Muscles in the forearms. The wrists and hands, thumbs and the fingers. Your awareness into your upper body now. The chest, rib cage, the muscles across the top of the back. Muscles running down the sides of the spine. Relax the bottom of the back. And the muscles around the sides of the body. Relax the stomach muscles. The hips and pelvis. Relax the muscles in the buttocks. Relax the hamstrings. And the muscles all around the thighs. Relax the knees and the calves. Relax the ankles, feet and the toes. Bring your awareness to your breathing now. Start to count the inhales and exhales. Breathe in, count 1. Breathe out, count 2. Count 3. Breathe out, count 4. Breathe in, 5. Breathe out, 6. That count on. When you get to 10, come back to 1. Again on an inhale. Bring your focus in to just one breath. Still count 1 and 2 if you want, or just on one inhale. Keeping that focus, that one breath. Of your mind. You breathe in, say just. Breathe out, say this. Focus from your breathing. Your awareness to the physical sensations in your body. Feelings in the muscles and joints. Weight. Places where your body's in touch with the ground. Gently start to bring some movement back into the body. Move your hands and feet. Move your knees and hips. Move your chest and back. Move your arms and shoulders. Move your head and neck. And then when you're ready, if you turn on to your right side, and in your own time, bring yourself back up to seated. Give yourself a moment, readjust, being upright again. Take another couple of moments. Enjoy the relaxation in your body. Enjoy the stillness in your mind. Deep breath in and out. You've had your eyes closed. Gently open them. Namaste.